Hello everyone, and welcome to Seidat Admin Features Training webinar. I will be your host today. My name is Emma Ojapuska, and I work as a Customer Success Manager here at Seidat. My mission is to make sure that all of our customers are happy and stay happy. We're going to start by looking at today's agenda and what this training webinar is all about. So what we're going to go through today is the admin features of Seidat. That means that we're not going to go into that much about editing or sharing presentations, but instead we're going to see how to manage your team and how to manage your presentations in Seidat so that they all stay in order and are organized all the time. We are also going to go through the analytics that Seidat offers and also the other analytics tools that you can have in your Seidat team. This webinar will be recorded. So this means that if you have a colleague who is watching this or who needs to be watching this but cannot watch it at the moment, they can also go ahead and order the webinar from our website after the recording is done. So we can then start. We're going to first go through team and user management. I'm going to first tell a little bit about team management and user management in Seidat, and then I'm going to show in practice how to utilize those features in Seidat. So first, team management. When you are having a Seidat team, you most likely have many people there. So in rare cases, there's only one person, then team management is not that important, but usually you have at least 3 team members there. And once you want to, if you want to have different kinds of users in Seidat, you can manage them all from Users tab in your Seidat team. In the Users tab, you have different options of access levels. We're going to go through these in detail once I move to the platform. Then, how to make sure your users find their own presentations. So you might have people from different business units. You might have people who speak different languages in your Seidat team. And the idea is that they can all find all of their presentations easily. And how you can do this is with tags. So instead of folders, in Seidat, in the dashboard, you have tags. And with tags, you can organize the dashboard view. So for example, me as a CSM, I want to only see the material we have in our Seidat team that is made for CSMs. I don't care so much about the sales materials as I do not work in our sales. And with tags, I always have my dashboard organized, and I can also every time I want, I can find my own presentations, or then I can find my colleagues' presentations if I want to. Other way to make sure your users are using the correct presentations or that they see only the presentations that are meant for themselves is by editing the presentation access levels. So each presentation by default is shown to all of the users you have in your Seidat team. But if you want to, for example, hide a presentation from other users, that is completely possible. You do that by editing the presentation access levels. You can also have more people than one seeing one presentation. So basically, if you have a sales presentation that is in the Finnish language, but you don't want the people who are working in sales in English language to see that, you can have the presentation hidden, but then edit the access level so that the Finnish-speaking persons see the presentations. So now, every time the English-speaking persons come to the Seidat team, they will never, ever see the presentation that is not meant for them. But yeah, let's go see how these happen in practice. So we're going to start off by going to the users page. This is the page or the tab from where you can invite people to your Seidat team and also edit the access levels. So here, if I want to invite more users, I go to Users tab and then click on Invite Users. Once I press this tab, as you can see, it's asking me for emails. So I would put my colleagues' emails here. Let's say that I want to add Evert to our Seidat team, and I just put his email address there, and then I can select the access level I want. So if I want Evert to be able to come into the team and immediately have the full access level, so basically a brand manager, which is the highest level, I will click here, brand managers, and now invite. Now it means that once Evert goes to his email, he sees an invitation there, welcome to Seidat team, and he clicks there, and then he becomes a Seidat team member. Now, if I want to see what kind of access levels the existing users have in my Seidat team, or if I want to edit the access levels, I will click on these 3 little dots. The access levels can be edited by people who have either owner rights or admin rights. So as you can see, here we have owner, admin, and no admin rights. These 3 rights have nothing to do with how much you can edit a presentation, or if you can share them or present them. This is only about administration and management of the users, of the billing details, API keys, and so on. So basically, a Seidat team has only 1 owner, or maybe 2. The owner is the one who can do everything in the team. So they can add users, delete users, they can edit the billing details, they can see the API keys, and so on. Owners also have 1 specific thing they can do that others cannot, and it's to see hidden presentations. So in Seidat, any user that can create a presentation can select the access level so that other people don't see it. So it's a hidden presentation. Every time there is a hidden presentation, it's hidden from everybody else other than the owner. So owner has this little tab on the front page, this, and once they click this one, then they can also see the hidden presentations there. All right, then we have the other admin right, and it's admin. So basically, admin is the second one from owners. Admins could be, for example, assistant, or people who need to add users quite often, maybe the people who onboard salespeople who are going to join the Seidat team and so on. So they can manage team settings, they can add new people, delete new people, they can manage billing, they can see the API key and so on, but they cannot see the hidden presentations. And then lastly, we have no admin rights. No admin rights is used for the basic users, salespeople. Let's say you have a marketing director, sales director, somebody who doesn't need to add people, they don't need to edit the billing details or anything like that, or just a normal employee. They usually go with no admin rights. So as we can see here, I am the owner of this team. Heikki is the owner of this team. We can see the owner tabs here, and then Evert and Jori have no rights at all. Then we're gonna go to the other rights that we have for any users. So these 6 here determine what they can do with the brand or with the presentations. And these are also in the hierarchy here. So brand manager has the most rights, and no rights has the less rights. Brand manager is the usually marketing personnel, brand director, marketing director, whoever is in charge of how the brand is supposed to look and how your presentations are supposed to look. Brand managers can join the Seidat team, and once they do that, they can edit the fonts you use in Seidat, they can edit the colors you have there, they can edit, of course, all the smart slides, all the presentations. So they can basically do anything that has anything to do with editing a presentation or how they look like. Next up, we have smart slide editors. Smart slide editors have the second most rights. They can do everything else, almost everything that brand manager can, but they cannot go into the brand settings and edit them. So in Seidat, you always have brand settings set up. I will show you that in the next part. And brand settings basically mean that you have certain fonts, you have certain colors that you can use in your Seidat theme. So no, if you have a sales guy who wants to use, for example, Comic Sans as a font, if that is not set in your brand settings, then they cannot do that. So brand managers can change the fonts, can change the colors. Smart slide editors can't. But smart slide editors can make presentations, edit them, share them, whatever. They can also edit smart slides. Then we have editors. So editor is the last one of the CM users. CM here means content manager. So content manager is a user who can edit something. Editors can edit presentations, but they cannot edit smart slides or the brand. So editors are the least, they have the least rights from the content manager users. Then we have so-called extra users. So these last three are not content managers. Usually, if you have salespeople in your Seidat team, they normally don't have a smart slide editor rights, because these are usually marketing people. They are the ones who are in charge of the all content that needs to look the same in all presentations. But they might have editor rights if your salespeople create a lot of presentations, or then they might have sharer rights. Sharer rights are for those people who don't need to edit any presentations. They only need to present them or send them forward. So if I'm a sharer, I come to this Seidat team, I see all the presentations, I can present them, I can share them, I can name the links and everything, but I cannot edit them. Then we have viewer rights. Viewer rights can join the Seidat team, see the presentations there, but they cannot share them. They cannot edit them, and also they cannot touch the brand or the smart slides. So basically, they only come to the Seidat team and they see the presentations. And lastly, we have no rights users. This is something that not many Seidat teams need, and it's made for resellers, or that is the most normal way to use no rights. No rights users cannot see any presentations by default. So when they join the Seidat team, they don't see anything. But a editor, smart slide editor, or the brand manager can give them access to certain presentations. So let's say that we have 70 presentations in our Seidat team. One of them is a reseller sales deck. So the sales deck that the resellers use. I would add our resellers as no rights users in our team. They would not see any of our 70 presentations, but I would add them to the reseller sales deck, and then they would see that. They can also, if you want, you can add them editing rights, you can give them sharing rights, or just viewing rights for that specific presentation. All right, so that is how you edit the user's access levels and manage the access levels in your team. These can be changed at any time. So if you need to add quickly a smart slide editor right to a normal sales guy when you are going to a summer vacation or something, then you can just easily do it from here by clicking this button, and then the right will be moved to them. Quite easy. All right, next up, we're gonna go and see tags. So I told you about how to manage users. It's from the users page. And then when we want to manage presentations and show specific presentations to specific people, then we utilize tags and access levels. So now I'm in the dashboard. Here I have all the presentations that I have in my team. All of these presentations have tags in them, so they are tagged. How they work is so that now, as you can see, there's a lot of presentations here. And if I want to find a specific presentation, I can, of course, go here, search, let's put my name, Emma. Now I see all the presentations that have the name Emma in the name of the presentation. But if my name is Emma, but I still don't want to name all my presentations with Emma, I can use tags. And tags work so that once you first of all create a new presentation, you can add tags here. Or then if you have already some presentations in your team and you have not tagged them, you can easily add the tags from edit presentation and then presentation settings. And here we have all the tags. You can delete them and add them from here. Now, before you do any of that, you might want to set the tags. And how to do that? First of all, you have to be a brand manager. So editors, smart slide editors, sharers, owners, whatever, they cannot edit the tags. You have to be a brand manager in order to set up the whole tag list. You can find all the tags by pressing this button here. So the one that looks like a price tag. And once you click it, you have the existing tags here. You might have some default tags there that we have set it up, or you might have something that your colleague already put there. Now, if I want to edit this, I just scroll to the bottom, click edit tags, and now here I have all the tags that are in my team. If I want to, let's say that I don't want to have a teaser tag anymore, or teaser tag should be named differently, I can just edit it here, and once I press save, it will be edited in all the presentations where you have the teaser tag. Also, you can just remove the tags that you don't need and add new tags if you want. It's that simple. Now, as you can see, we have here some little marks and numbers. The idea of these is to put these tags into order. So when you open the tag selector, you always have the tags there in alphabetical order. And now we have first here our two salespeople, Emma and Heikki, and we have this little mark here. Why we have done that is to separate these two names from all the other tags that are available. Also, then we have our language selection, so English or Finnish, these are marked with numbers. So now they stay in a different place other than names and the other tags that we have here. Now, if you're thinking about like what kind of tag should I use, it depends what you're working with. So if you, for example, have a lot of languages in your what you're selling, then have the language tags. If you have salespeople who make personalized materials, then also I would suggest that put the names of the salespeople there. Then it's easier for them to find their own presentations. Then the next thing you want to put there is something that varies a lot depending on what you're selling or what you're using Seidat for. But for example, you can have use cases. In our team that we use in a daily basis, we have use cases. So we have meeting memos, offers, webinars, training, all of that kind of tags there. So then we know the use case. But if you have a lot of different products, for example, you have product groups or something, you might want to add them. Whatever makes it easy for you to find specific presentations. All right. Then before we continue, I'm going to tell you about the team tag defaults. So basically, as I have been using this Seidat theme for quite a while, I have here some tags already in my front page pinned. And the idea here is that if you have these tags here pinned, it's way easier to use them. Otherwise, you have to go here and then every time find the right tag. Let's put marketing. And once you click it, it's here. But if you click it from here, it disappears. And then you always have to open this list again. So in order to not do that, please pin the tags. And also, this is something that salespeople or the normal users that are not brand managers should also do. If you believe that maybe your salespeople don't remember to go here and pin the tags, by the way, pinning happens from pressing this little pin button here, then it appears and stays on the dashboard. But yeah, if you don't believe that your salespeople are going to remember to go here and pin the tags and then use them, you can also force it. So by forcing it, I mean setting team tag defaults. You have two options here. So you can set tag defaults those are the ones that I have here in gray. So let's say that I also want to have agreements there, for example. Now, as you can see, agreements appeared here too. This means that every time you have a new Seidat user coming to the team, they log in, they will have all of these tags already pinned on the front page. So this is something that will kind of force your salespeople or other people to use the tags, and it's way easier for them to start using them if they see it from the beginning. You can also have tags selected. So as we can see here, we have sales tag, and this is blue, the other ones are gray. The idea here is that the sales tag is selected, which means that once, if I'm a new user, I log into Seidat, I have the tags pinned here, and I also have the sales tag selected. So immediately I only see those presentations that have the sales tag in them. The selected tags also work for existing users. So team tag defaults are set only for new users. So if you have a new colleague joining, these gray tags here will be shown on their front page. But if you have an old Seidat user, they will not have them because they might have already set up their personal preferences there as pinned tags. But the selected tags will also be selected for the existing users if they log in with a new device or if they log in and out from Seidat. So now if I would log in and out, I would log in back again. And even though I am an old user of Seidat, I'm not a new team member, I would still come here and I would have the sales tag selected. Of course, I can deselect it like this, and now I see again all of the presentations. But pinning the tags is something that makes it way easier for anybody to use Seidat. Some people might get confused that, hey, we have a big Seidat team, we have a lot of presentations here, but I can tell you our Seidat team has somewhat 10,000 presentations in it, and it's not this team, this is a demo team, by the way, but for me, it's always easy to find my presentations. The idea here is that you can filter. So many times I get asked that, Emma, where are the folders? And I say, we don't need folders because that's what I think, at least at the moment. And the reason is that when you have tags, you can easily filter the presentations in order without them getting lost in some folder system. So now if I, for example, want to see all the proposals we have in this Seidat team, first of all, here's a lot of presentations. And now I click proposals. I only see 6 presentations. And now if I would want to see proposals that are written in the English language, I click on the English tag and now only 4. Same thing, but Finnish. And then maybe I want to see proposals that are mine and mine that are in English. And as you can see, it's very easy to filter out. And also, if you want to utilize your colleagues' materials, then it's very easy when they are not in folders hidden somewhere. All right, that's about it about the tags. Sometimes tags might be, or when you start to use them, they might be a little bit confusing. But if you need any help with setting up the tags and figuring out what would be the best use case for you with the tags, please don't hesitate to ask us anything. We have a chat open in this webinar, but also we have a chat open here all the time. So if you want to ask something, please go ahead and do it from there. All right, then we have the access levels. So still talking about team management and how your users see different presentations. Access levels. So here we have all the presentations. Here we have the users with their own access level. So this is the user access level, but then we also have here presentation access level. So now if I click on this, I can see that, okay, this presentation has the maximum team access level set to editing. This means that everybody who is in the Seidat team will have maximally editing rights to these presentations. Of course, if you are a sharer, so you don't by default have editing rights, you cannot edit this presentation. You will have the maximum access level that is set up in the user settings. But if your maximum user right is editing, then you can edit this presentation. But now, if we want to, for example, hide this presentation or give less access to certain people, you can change this access level. So now let's put it so that I only want my colleagues to see this presentation, but I don't want them to share it. I don't want them to edit it. I don't want them to send the presentation out with a link anywhere. I would set here viewing. Now this means that all my team members who belong to my Seidat team can only see this presentation, and I am the only one who can edit this. So in the users part, you can add more users to this presentation. For example, if I want to all my colleagues to only view this, but I want to edit this presentation with Heikki, I would click Heikki Kärkölä there, and now we have 2 people editing this specific presentation. If I want to give also Evert access to this presentation, something else other than viewing, I can add him too. But if I want Evert to not to be able to edit this presentation, but only to share it, I would click here, Sharer, and then Update Permissions. Now, as we can see, this little icon here turned into blue. It means that this presentation has access levels that are edited. So they are not the normal maximum team access editing. All right, then, now that was all about user management and team management and how to make sure that certain people see certain presentations, how people can easily see the presentations that are meant for them, and how to edit the access levels of certain users. Next up, we're gonna move into content management. So, what do we have here? Firstly, brand management. I told you a little bit about this before, but I'm just now gonna go into more detail. So, as we probably all know, in Seidat, you have selected brand. This means that you have to select fonts and colors that will be used in your Seidat theme. With this, you can make sure that no matter who creates a presentation or edits it, they will all only use the brand that you have selected. For example, you have a Open Sans as the brand font. You set it in the brand settings, and then nobody can use Comic Sans or any other font that is not meant for your brand image. That's one way to manage the content in a big picture. And then we're going to go into smaller details. Smart slides. So in Seidat, we have 2 different kind of slides. We have normal slides, and then we have smart slides. How smart slides work is that you can edit a slide that is a smart slide in one presentation. And once you edit it there, you save it, the changes will be seen in all presentations where you have used that specific slide. For example, here, we have this general cover. And as we can see, this presentation has the same cover. Also, this one has the same color. Now, if I would go and edit this slide, which is a smart slide, the edits would be shown in both this and this presentation, even though I'm editing it in only one place. How to use smart slides? The most common things are, for example, these kind of covers, also company numbers, references, those kind of slides that you edit quite rarely, but when you edit them, the information should be shown everywhere. So for example, you have this kind of a logo wall where you have all your reference logos. One of them churns, or you get a new customer you want to put on the logo wall. You want probably that everybody who sees your presentations will see that now you have a new important logo there. If that slide is a smart slide, it's enough that you go into the one presentation where the reference logo wall slide exists as a smart slide, you add the logo there and press save, and then that will be shown in all the presentations where you use that smart slide. I will show you later in practice how this works, so don't worry if it sounds a bit confusing now. Lastly, about content management, we have the image bank. So in Seidat, everybody uses the same pictures. In the image bank, you can upload as many pictures as you like. Doesn't matter if they're big or small, it doesn't have any limit. The idea here is that once you have image bank, well, all the images that you want to use exist, then you can be sure that your salespeople, for example, don't use some ugly screenshots that they just took or some random photos they found on Google or bad quality pictures. If you have them in the image bank, then everybody can use them. Of course, if your salespeople are editors, they can also add photos to the image bank. But the thing here is that you will see it. So if you want to make sure people don't use photos that are not meant for your brand or don't give out the right brand image, you can just go to the image bank, even see who uploaded the photo, and then ask, why is this photo here? Or then you can just set up a good image bank where all your salespeople will always find the right photos they should be using. Now, let's jump back into the platform and start with brand management. So now I'm gonna click on the brand here. And if you are a brand manager, you can see all of this here. But if you're something less than a brand manager, so for example, Smart Slide Editor, you cannot do anything here. You actually can't even see the whole page well. Here, you set up the color palette. So what this does is that this makes it easier for anybody to use the right brand colors. Quick example, if I'm creating a new presentation here, and I want to add, I'm just gonna go quickly through, so don't be scared. And I want to add a circle here. Sorry, a box here. If I click on the shape color, now here I can see that I can only select the color that belongs to our brand. So it's not easy for me to go ahead and click on a yellow color if that is not part of our brand, as I cannot see it from the color palette here. So that's where you can see the colors. Also, the colors are here. So once you have set up the colors here, you can also set up default slide background color, which means that when you create a new slide like this, it will have a background color. As you can see, the default background color for us is this grayish color, but if you would set it to, let's say, red, and I would go and create a new slide, it would have, sorry, I did it too quickly, it would have a red background color. I didn't press something well. Let's see. All right, so now we have set up the color palette and the default slide background color. Then we move to the fonts. So here we have all the fonts, their names, what font family it is, the font weight, sizes, spacing, and all of that. Color, if they're uppercase letters, default fonts, and so on. This might seem a little bit confusing, but if you want to preview them, you just scroll down and then you can see the colors here. And you can see that these all of these fonts are on the slide background color. So you will immediately see how it works out. I'm going to change it back to the gray one because it makes more sense and it's easier to see all of these fonts. So here you see the previews. I suggest that every time you add a new font, please name it so that it's easy for everybody to understand what is it used for. So as you can see, we have named the fonts here as Title 80. So title font, 80 is the size, and then this is extra bold, so it says here extra bold. Then we have some smaller sizes of the same text style, and then subheading, as you can see, this is a different font, and as the name says that this is for subheadings, people would most likely use it only for subheadings. And then body text and some other new title fonts. The brand settings work so that if you now have here a title font, font family is Oswald. And let's say that you change your brand image completely and you at the same time also change the font family you're using. If you want, you can make it so that all the existing presentations you have will have the new font immediately. What you would do is just click here, font family. Let's say that we changed it to, let's put something nice. For example, Piramono. Don't know if this is any better than Oswald, but let's just take that one. All right, now we have the new font family selected, and let's say that we have a color that it's no longer this blue color, it's the black one. And now if I scroll down and I look at this font, so you can see, it looks different. This means that if it looks different here, it also looks different in all the presentations where this font has been used. So every time you change something in the brand settings, it will be also changed in the presentations. Now, if you have presentations with your old image and then you have presentations with the new image, and you don't want the old presentations to look like your new brand, you can also then disable some fonts. So what this means is that if I would click on, for example, here on the second one, I would click from the enabled place here. Now off. It turned to gray. And what this means is that in the presentations where you have this font, so for example, I have an old presentation where I use the title in the white color, it will still exist there. But when I create a new presentation, I would not be able to select this font. So if I go here to this beautiful presentation I just created and edit it and add any text, I would first see here all the text styles that are available. And as you can see, it's not here. The white title font is no longer there. Now I can also go back to the brand settings from here, so I don't always have to go to the brand management tab. And I click on enabled on. Now it means that this is okay again. I press the X mark and I see it here again. So basically, you can disable any font you no longer want people to use, but you still want them to exist in the presentations that you have already created. Here you can also set if you want the font to be only in uppercase letters, or then if you want to have a default font. You always have to select one default font. I suggest that you always put the body text, for example, with the black letters. So as we can see here, we have this one as a default font. It means that if I go and create a new text box on a slide, this font will be selected automatically. So this is the one that is always chosen as the first font when you create a new text box. Also, default fonts are used when you delete a text style. So let's say that I now go and delete this body 16 text style here, click on the remove button. Okay, now all the presentations where this font was used have the default font. So body 24, open sans and black color. This also happens that if you want to have a default font, sorry, I lost my thought. I gotta be honest with you here. Yeah, so if you want to change the default font, that's what I was about to say. It's very easy. So now we have 24 body text. Let's say that we want everybody to start with a little bit smaller text or bigger text or whatever. Then we can just click on, for example, this body 20, here default, and now this font will be the one that is your default font. Brand settings can be edited anytime. So if you have your brand image going through some turbulence, then every day you can come here and change the text styles and the fonts as much as you like. One thing here is that if you're importing presentations in the beginning from PowerPoint, you should know that the PowerPoint should have something similar to these text styles. And why is that? If you import a PowerPoint with the edit mode, import mode, I'm going to show you here, editable slides, it means that when you import the PowerPoint, all the text styles will be changed to something you have already existing in the Seidat theme. So let's say you have a PowerPoint that has Comic Sans font there selected. Then your Seidat theme, as we saw, does not have here Comic Sans. No, not at all. It's not here. So what Seidat would do, it would find the most, the font that looks the most similar to the Comic Sans font and select that instead. But if you want your PowerPoints to be imported the same, so that they look exactly the same in Seidat, then I suggest that add all the fonts you have in PowerPoint, all the font families, all the right sizes and everything here. And then when you import the PowerPoints with editable slides, then they should look basically almost the same as what they did in PowerPoint. One note here that font size in Seidat is in pixels, and in PowerPoints, it's in points. So if you want to know what is, for example, 80 pixels in points, you just go to Google and click PX to PT, and that's how you find a free converter. I have tried most likely the 5 first one that come in the Google search, and all of them work fine, so don't be scared to use them. But yeah, and then if you have some special fonts, so let's say we have all Google fonts here. If there is a Google font that is missing, please ask from our chat so we can add it to your Seidat theme. Or if you have your own custom fonts, then we can also add those to your Seidat theme. But please just ask from our chat and then we will help. All right, so that's it about brand settings. And next up, we're going to move to Smart Slides. So here we have Smart Slides tab. And in this place, you can see all the smart slides that are in your Seidat theme. As you can see, we have here quite many smart slides, and on top of each smart slide, we can also see how well they are being used. So for example, the solution slide here is used in 18 presentations. If I click on the used in 18 presentations, I can also see which presentations they are used in. If I want to edit the smart slide, I can do it here. So just click on the pencil button, and here I have to once again click that I am really sure that I want to edit this smart slide. Yes, and then if I make edits here, the edits will be shown in all of the 18 presentations that were listed in the list. If you're just starting to use Seidat and you don't yet have any smart slides, you can create them by going to the Smart Slide tab, then pressing here, Create Smart Slide, and then start from the beginning. But if you already have some presentations, for example, imported from PowerPoint, and you want to have them as smart slides, you can also go to any presentation, click on the Edit Presentation button, and then on top of any slide, you just click on these 3 little dots and then make smart slide. As you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This now have this kind of white little triangle on the top of the page, on the top of the slide, which means that this is a smart slide. So this is how you see if a slide is a smart slide or not. You can make any slide a smart slide. You can also unlink the smartness of the slide anytime, but you have to be a brand manager in order to create one. So if you are only an editor or sharer, then this will not be possible for you. Editors can go and still click on the unlink button, but they cannot after that press this button, as they don't have the rights. Now, let's say that you have created all the smart slides you need for your Seidat theme, and then you want to make sure that you don't have any duplicates. You want to make sure that those are easy to find for the salespeople. Then go into the Smart Slide tab, and find all of your smart slides there. You can set the order of the smart slides here. So right now I had most used. If you click on that, you have other options too. So for example, alphabetical order, easy to see that we have 3 empty slides here. We might want to delete them. If you want to delete any smart slide, you just click on the smart slides on the check mark here. So here on the top of the slide, you click on it, and then here we have unlink and delete. What this does is that it won't delete any of these empty slides from the presentations where they exist, but it will delete the smart feature. So now I click unlink and delete. If those slides were used in any presentations, they will still exist there, but they will no longer be smart slides. Now, as we can see here that we have some slides that look the same almost, maybe we have some duplicates. Well, these two, greetings Will Fredriksson. These look the same, but I'm not quite sure if they are the same. I can check it out by editing it. Okay, hello customer. And then if I go and see the other one, it says, great to have you here. Not the same slide. But if we would have a slide that is a duplicate, so for example, I wonder if we have any in the team. Let's say that I'm gonna do it so that I'm just gonna do it myself in this moment. I'm gonna make this a smart slide, then copy the slide, unlink it, and then make it a smart slide again. So now we have 2 slides that look the same, so I can show how this works. All right, so now we have here 2 slides that are duplicates. If I want to merge these together and make sure that in all the presentations where I have either one of these slides used, they will only have this one, for example. I could go here, click on that, then click on that, and then replace all. What this does is now you can select the slide you want to stay there. As we can see that these are exactly the same slide, so it doesn't matter which one we select. Now I click replace all, and what this does is now we only have 1 slide in all these presentations. You can also merge, for example, slides that are outdated to the ones that have the correct information. So let's say that we no longer want to have Finnish versions of this cover, then we would just go and click on this, click on that, replace all, and then select the one that we want to stay. So it's the English one, and replace all. And now in all the presentations where each of these slides were used, we'll only have the English version. Smart slides can also be organized with tags. So the same way as you organize your presentations, here you have the tag selector. You can edit the tags here, add more of them here. And if you want to add them to a slide, you go here, click to add. Let's say that this is an English slide, and also let's say that this is sales related. So I'm just going to click sales. And now if you want to easily find all the English slides you have, you click on this. Finnish slides, you click on this. It's very easy. Then image bank. So in the image bank, you have quite similar features at what you have in the smart slide bank. So basically, you can also delete all the some images from all the presentations. You can also merge them together. You can organize them and make sure that there are only pictures or images that you want to be used. Uploading pictures is easy. So clicking on upload button and then selecting the files here. You can also drag and drop to this place, and you can also copy paste in this view. So if I would take a screenshot here right now it's in the clipboard, and I press Command V, then I can have it here too. So it's very easy to add. You can also use other platforms where you might have pictures, add them to your Seidat theme, and then you can easily add pictures from there. Now, in the image bank, we have a folder structure. So as you can see, we have here some graphics, we have background images, logos, and so on. Adding a new folder happens from new folder, and then you name it, let's say, screenshots. Now it's easy to make sure that these images are organized, and if you are missing some images, it's easy to find where they're missing from. As I told you, you can do the similar you have similar features in Image Bank as what you have in Smart Slide Bank. So I went to the logos folder, and as you can see, I have some duplicates here. So now, if I want to delete the duplicate, I wouldn't go here and press the delete button. Why wouldn't I do that? It's because if I delete it, it will be deleted from all the presentations where this image is used. If I want to make sure that is this used anywhere, I can just click on it, then go to image info, and then I see, okay, it's used in 17 slides. Okay, maybe I don't want to delete it because then there will be just an empty place. But I want to merge these duplicates still together so I don't have any extra pictures here. I select both of them and then I go and click replace, make sure these are the same picture, and then replace all. Now, in all presentations where each of these logos were used, only we'll have that one. You can do the same if you're, for example, renewing your logo. For example, we have done that some time ago. And as you can see, here's our old logo and the new logo. And now I would want to easily update all the presentations so that they will have the new logo. I will click on these two, replace, then select the one that I want to stay there, this one, and replace all. Now all the presentations will have the new logo selected there. All right, that's about content management. So in a big picture, brand settings, here you can decide which fonts all the users can use. Smart slides, you can easily manage the slides from one place. And Image Bank, select what kind of images your users can use, and also you can easily update the slides if needed. Lastly, I told you that we're going to talk about analytics, and that's what we're going to use the last 10 minutes for. So in Seidat, you have different analytics you can use, external, internal. So you also have different use cases for analytics. So maybe you want to know if your salespeople are using your presentations. Maybe you want to know what kind of slides your customers are looking at. Or maybe you want to know which slides are the most interesting. This is all something that you can do with Seidat. If you add, for example, Google Analytics, Leadfeeder, whatever analytics system you have. In a big picture, Seidat can have Google Analytics tracking there, but through Google Tag Manager, you can have a lot more. So if you have, for example, HubSpot as a CRM, you can add HubSpot tracking code to your Seidat theme via Google Tag Manager. The place where you find all of these in your Seidat theme is the theme settings. So if I would now want to add, for example, Google Analytics tracking ID, I could add it just by copy pasting it from Google Analytics to here. Or if I would want to add my Google Analytics tracking through Google Tag Manager, or if I would want to add, for example, some kind of pixel there, HubSpot tracking code, whatever, I would do it through Google Tag Manager. So here is where you add the codes. You have to first fetch them from your Google Tag Manager or Google Analytics. As you saw from this slide, there is also other possibilities that you can do, and those are integrations. So if you want to have more advanced features in Seidat, you want to automate stuff, maybe you want to make sure that all the presentations you create have their links in your CRM or whatever, you can also use Zapier and easily connect your CRM or whatever other system to Seidat. We also have open API. So if you want to do a integration straight from your CRM to Seidat without using Zapier, that's also possible. All right, so these are all the options. The most used is Google Analytics, and I'm gonna show how it works. First, I will tell you what to do if you don't know what is Google Analytics and you are not interested in using that. Even without Google Analytics, you can still see some analytics of your presentations. And I think these are actually usually just enough. So with Seidat in-app analytics, you can easily see if your presentations are being viewed. So in Seidat, when you share materials, you share them with a link. This is something that we didn't go through today, but this is something that we go through in other webinars, such as basic training webinar. In that one, I show you how to create the links in more detailed, but in this case, I'm just gonna quickly show how it works. So here I have a presentation. I want to share it. I create a link and I add here a link note. I'm gonna add here the name of the receiver. For example, Emma, and then maybe the date when I sent this so I know it myself. Now, when I share this link, I can share it by copying it or by emailing it or whatever. The idea here is that you can get information if the link is being opened already in Seidat. So you don't need any analytics tools for this. If Emma opens this, I'm just gonna open it in incognito window so it doesn't recognize that I am part of the Seidat team. I will know it here. Now, this is a nice thing to know, but wouldn't it be even nicer to know it immediately when it happens? That's why we have alarms. So email notifications, I set notify immediately at recipient. So I am the one who wants to get the notification if the link is opened, and then update notification settings. What happens here is that in maybe 2 seconds, I will receive an email that says that Emma has opened this and this presentation. This is something that your salespeople love. As I'm doing sales, that's why I know it. But yeah, that's how you use Seidat's in-app analytics. But if you want to get more of it, and if you want to, for example, utilize Google Analytics, it looks something like this. So in a big picture, you are able to see which slides are the most important, which are the ones that people view the most, what are the slides that people spend time on. So basically everything you see from your website also, if you have Google Analytics on your website. You can also, if you want to go further with the idea of getting the data and visualizing it, you can utilize Google Data Studio. If you don't know how to use it, we can also help you with this. But with this, you can also track your salespeople. Here we have activities by users. So these are our salespeople, and here we can see how much they use Seidat. So if you want to know who uses Seidat and how much, you can also do that easily. Then, if you have, for example, HubSpot as a CRM, or maybe you have Leadfeeder, these are something you can also have as the analytics, or from there you can also see your Seidat presentation analytics. For example, Leadfeeder here, you can see on the front page that Seidat proposal has been opened by this company. So whatever analytics you're using, please do not hesitate to ask us how they will work or if they will work with Seidat. We are more than happy to tell you how it happens. We're running out of time for today here, but one last thing I'm gonna tell you is our own e-sign. So we have electric signature feature also in Seidat. And what you can do with that is follow. If you want to use Seidat as an offer, you can have the signature tab there so people can sign your presentations. And why would you use that? You also get more analytics. So with eSign, you can see here that this is sent by Suvi Heinikoski. She requested an e-signature, and then she sent it to herself. which makes a lot of sense. And then you can see that this was viewed by Suvi Heinikoski at this time and then signed. So if you want to go into more detailed information of your proposal analytics, you should probably try our e-sign. If you want to get a trial of the e-sign, if you want to hear anything more about the analytics that we offer and what are available, please don't hesitate to ask us. If you want, just go quickly, click on the chat icon here and say, hey, I want to hear more. We will be glad to help you with any of this. But all right, we are running out of time. If you were missing something, if you think that something was maybe a bit confusing, I suggest use our support site. There you have answer to everything. So just go to support.seidat.com and there you have everything, or just ask from the chat. But from my side, I want to thank you all for this webinar and see you in the next one.